Everybody, and welcome back into Grantham CPT stream. Today we're going back in the 747-400. Today we're in Las Vegas International Airport, Harry Reid International actually, and we're going to be flying down to San Francisco, California. So welcome in. Started nice and early because I want to get the preparation of things done in time, but don't worry if you're just joining, we're going to be taking our time getting started, so that'll give plenty of people the opportunity to come. I'm parked here on the ramp. We are FedEx. It's nice and dark. Just kicking up the APU and the batteries. There we go. And we're pretty much in that position now where we're free to just sort of have a little bit of a mess around in a sense. So let's go and get some of this stuff started. For recirculation funds, yaw dampers. Much more familiar with the 747 layout than I am with something like the MD-82. We will be trying the MD-82 on Friday. McDonnell Douglas, so that'll be interesting. Let's go ahead and look outside. It's very dark at the moment, and one of the things about the Sparky mod is you get in the cockpit, or you even get out the plane, and if it's in the dark and the lights are on inside, you can see inside the cabin, so it's a little bit unrealistic. As you can see, the plane is pretty much see-through, which is a little bit embarrassing. I don't know how to correct it. It doesn't happen on all liveries. It seems to just be the aircraft in general, but yet FedEx, we are parked with other FedEx aircraft, so X-Plane's got them. I think this was the only appropriate space, to be honest, because it was such a big aircraft. So we're waiting, like I say, slow start. We're going to take our time. About 10 minutes usually for the IRS or something like that. That gives us plenty of time to do things on here, like ground handling. Now remember, you don't want to remove the chocks because that will cause certain other things to disappear. Door controller, we have got one open for some reason, so we're going to close that. For the sake of realism, there's no passengers obviously other than the crew. Just two pilots today, so pretty simple. Ground services, we need the GPU. Okay, great. Let's go on external power. We'll keep the APU running. Let's go ahead and get our weight and balance done. So packs and cargo. In our case, we don't have... In fact, there's a good point. I haven't calculated how much cargo because on SimBrief, for some stupid reason, I've put it in as... I've just made the mistake of putting it in as a normal 747. So it's not coming up with a cargo amount. I'm going to go ahead and try and change that. Actually, let's get it changed to, I think it's the F, the 747-400F, and that'll be the cargo version. Welcome in, regular Finders. Great to see you here, as usual. Your support, you know, your watches over last week and your comments, just very helpful to the channel and to me as well, just making me feel like there's somebody actually enjoying it. Cool, so now we switched out the packs. We've still got 22 people on board, which is odd. But now we have 95,000 kilograms of cargo, which is insane. And we actually need more fuel as well. We need 25 kg. We need 26,000. I'm just going to round it up. 26,000 of fuel, which is... It seems like it's actually a lot heavier in cargo configuration. It's not an actual F aircraft. It's not... as you can see, the cabin's for passengers, so it's not actually a cargo built model on X-Plane. I'm just hoping it can take the amount of people. Let's go ahead and put it in anyway. So we're more concerned with cargo readings, so bulk cargo. I-5249. So the maximum in there. I don't know how we'll get the actual 95,000. I think it's going to be pretty impossible. We have got 22 people, so we might as well just stick 20 in first class, because there's not going to be anyone else on board, is there? $26,000 in there. Let's do another. So as you put a number in, it'll just come up with whatever it's allowed. So we're only allowed 58.6 there on the weight. It's a little bit of a workaround. It's a little bit different, but it still works in the end. It's still fictional, isn't it? The actual payload itself. So we're well under. It's supposed to be 96, but we're at 58. Right, block fuel. Let's get that done. Refueling. So actually, there's one good point. The Sparky mod, since we're going through this nice and slowly today, ground services, as far as I'm aware, doesn't actually include a refueling page. There's simply the ground services, and that's it. You click on ground. There's nothing there to get the fuel truck out, which is fine. That's no problem whatsoever. But that is when the aircon goes off, probably because we switched to the ground power, which is odd. 95,000. I don't think we need that much because we haven't got full weight. 96,000 rounded up. No, I'm getting even more confused. It's 26,000. Let's just go with 27,000. We'll be fine weight-wise. Back up to the overhead panel. Everything's looking pretty good there. There's nothing else to change. We've done the IRS. We're just waiting on it. Oh, utilities have gone off. Hydraulics. Navigation lights. Everything's on. Wing lights. So we don't have any other lights there to put on at the moment. Window heat can come on. Let's go ahead and stick all the fuel pumps on. That'll save time for the engines, and we're going to also stick the bleed air on actually while I'm here. Don't forget, when you do the bleed air, you need to connect the APU bleed air to the engines via this inlet valves. And today we're FEDEX 92, so we got a nice little call sign there. FEDEX 92, simple and easy. Okay, cool. We've got a automatic squawk code, which is brilliant. As usual in the United States, God bless the United States of America, we always spawn in. If we don't have a ATC, they'll just send us one automatically. Oh, sorry, we have a call sign mismatch. Flight plan filed is called as FEDEX 92. Let's go ahead and reconnect. Right, there's the automatic squawk code, so 1315. That's absolutely the best feature about this that I love. So 1315 down here. Let's stick transponder on mode C. Okay, I think there's supposed to be ground crew here, or they're miscalculated, they're malfunctioning because it's cargo parking space. This wasn't the yeah, because there's one going to that lower right there, lower left. Just gonna say we weren't supposed to be parked in this space. It didn't actually come up as available, which is odd. We do need to close the doors. I'm just going to get rid of the ground services. Just get at ground. Ground handling. Door control. Cool. Harry Reid International. (3002). We're going up to flight level 300 today. Straight up. And it's not it's dark there now, but hopefully there'll be a sign of light when we get there. Okay, we loaded in. This is our departure, everybody. So the runway 01 right is correct. Juliet Oscar Hotel Kilo Romeo 3. Yes, so it usually works on Sparky, and then we're direct to Kano. Transition altitude, cruise, flight level 300. We didn't have descent, so we can change some of these parameters if we want. So if we wanted to go below 250, below 10,000, we could, but we are on a 747, so we need the speed. Back onto legs. Just confirm the route is in fact programmed in. Double check the arrival as well. Always worth double checking you've got it in, because that will obviously have the original waypoint if you need to change it. So DM'd 5, runway 28 left. And I got a feeling there probably won't be anybody available to give us ATCs. Let's go and just select ILS. I mean, technically I'm doing it wrong, because we should check what kind of arrival that is. You know, as in our nav, and then we should choose the approach based on what the arrival is. Vectors. Flight plan is giving me a simple. It's kind of strange, but I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. It's obviously night time for me is just it's peak flight simulation. In fact, I did a real 737 flight to Las Vegas at night, and it was really spectacular. I say real, but it was on the... I don't know what the proper name for is now, but those proper flight simulators, you know, where you sit in the cockpit and you pretend you're a pilot. They're one of those things. It was pretty good. Okay, cost index. Should be pretty big on this 747. So, yeah, cost index. Actually, cost index won't come up because we're on cargo flight. It won't come up to the same kind of like amount. Like usually for passengers it's 300, but today it's 62. Okay, thrust limit. 20 degrees outside, or 20 plus. At least you can enter data into some of these. EPR is 159. Could do takeoff 1. Possibly the aircraft's certainly capable of it. And we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Okay. 4.4 on the trim. Beacons are coming on. Let's turn the lights on. It's a bit bright now, isn't it? We can see the actual plane is slightly better. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. And it's obviously going to be a straight out. A straight out departure. Taxi wise, that is, anyway. Make sure you select the VOR on. The Sparky mod doesn't actually have them on automatically. We need it on 10 degrees, which is 5 nautical miles, and then usually the co-pilot will have it usually about there, maybe 20 or 40. It depends what the, there are rules and regulations around that, and guidelines and checklists, etc. But people obviously vary it based on preference. Q&H is set. We need to just set the minimum. So usually the where are the minimums on here? Right. So I was expecting this typical 737 style minimums up there. I don't know why I haven't used that before, but now I know it doesn't. I can't do it. Right, LNAV and VNAV. So it's automatically, you'll see, put the V2 speed in, which is really, really handy actually on the Sparky. It's such a brilliant aircraft. It's totally free. You can get it off the X-Plane 12 forums, or just the X-Plane forums will be available. Cool. So I think we can taxi out straight out. A quick turnaround, I think. We just got to be cautious of this fence. We we can't go crashing through. We got a food truck there who's a bit late. Yeah. Let's go for another one engine start. Let's get the warm air in this plane and in the other ones. Hydraulic pressures. So you noticed last time, or some of you would, but when you start the engine in 747, I've been doing it with 2 at a time. Now that is somewhat normal. That is a normal practice. So you might do 1 and 3, but I think it's usually 2 and 4 first, and then 1 and 3. And it doesn't tend to slow it down any more than it would be, if that makes sense. So if you go back and watch the Air Force One flight, you just watch the start, you'll notice I did 2 at a time. The one where we got pushed back onto the runway, pretty much. And in this, I have heard people say introduce fuel immediately, but I've never done that on an aircraft before. So I've only flown aircraft that require fuel after it gets to about 15 or 20% N2. So we'll show you now number 2 and 4. You see this fairly quick rise there in the temperatures and pressures. Not as quick as it would be with 1, but it's certainly similar. So there's no need to worry about that. It won't break it. It won't break the aircraft. Let's do the fuel immediately, like people have sometimes suggested. And you can see that it rises pretty quick. Cool. We just need to get the airport chart and get our reference to the airport It's a takeoff position, i.e. active runway for us. Right, it's a huge airport, Las Vegas. I always call it Las Vegas International, but it's everyone knows it as Harry Reid. It's called Harry Reid International. So, runways in use, runway 01 right. We've got quite a bit of a taxi there, which is nice. I do like taxiing around airports, it's a lot of fun. So 19, 1 right. So we've got to go, we'll push back onto here, and then we'll go down. Looks like Bravo, I think, straight down Bravo. Bravo, and then Delta, and Delta 3. Harry Reid International Airport. This is FedEx 92, going to be pushing and taxiing to the runway 01 right via Bravo, Delta and Delta 3. Now I just hope the Unicom at this airport is the same as the United Kingdom. I'm assuming it is. Cool, I think we're ready to go. Let's just kick that APU off so you don't burn too much fuel. So at this point the bleed air can come off. I still leave the cross feed so the air goes through all the system, of course. And then you can see valve there because we're not connected to the APU power anymore. And one thing I need to do for you guys is just crank the lights up just a little bit so you can see what's actually happening. Hopefully that's a little bit better and you can see the cockpit. It is a little bit dark. Let's turn that up a little bit more. It sort of gets to a point though when you turn it up and it just gets whited out in colour. Slowly run to throttles. Okay, we've got some warnings down there. What's that? Fuel pump. So I did have fuel pump and the stabilizer on. Fuel low center. Let's just click those off then. Electric generator 4. All generators are on. Barometrics disagree. Did have those in alignment. Again, it's one of those things in life and on the game in particular. It just messes up. So they should always be synced. They did save previously. I think when you change liveries, it just gets rid of your previous save settings, which can be a little bit of a nightmare. So yeah, it's all synced up. Well, of course, we've done the old, the old embarrassing chocks again. Oh my! If you're new to the channel, this is not the first time I forgot it. Okay, we lost yaw control. It's odd. Can't remember how I fixed this last time. We didn't have the control on the rudder with the controls, so let's... So there's nothing assigned on there, as you can see. Let's just unassign some things, it doesn't clash. But yeah, there's no rudder control being assigned there. So it should Should be working. Apologies about my delay. This is why I started early, because I wanted to make sure there was no issues. So we got roll there. General keyboard. Let's do auto. Okay, got a bit of control over the wheel now. Well, we only just skimmed that fence. And the engines may have broken them. There we go, we're out of the space. Big plane this, it's absolutely ginormous. You don't realise how big it is on FSX, but then you come X-Plane 12 10 years later and you realise just how powerful these planes actually are. We've got to be super mindful. There is various taxiways around here, so green lights. It's almost like a racetrack, but it looks beautiful. Look at Vegas in the background. What a shot that is. It's once in a lifetime, this is. Please feel free as well. YouTube doesn't tend to push the content out, and it doesn't seem to show it to people. But if you know, if people watch and like and comment, that always helps to get it pushed out to more viewers. Didn't want to be the person to ask, but might as well. For anyone who's just joined, we're going to be taxiing to runway 01 right, which is down here via Bravo, Delta and Delta 3. Nice nighttime, early morning departure of Vegas here, and we're going to be heading to one of my favourite places in the world, actually, is California, San Francisco specifically. So welcome. Now you notice I'm doing something different taxiing here. I'm using, you may be able to see it down here on the engines. I'm only using 2 engines to supply power to the aircraft. There's Charlie. We need to get across to Bravo. We'll go right and then left. So if you use the 2 engines rather than 4, you're going to have sufficient power to taxi whilst avoiding overspeed. Now in an aircraft like this, at the weight we're at, we shouldn't be exceeding, you know, I'm going to say 15, but I think 10's more appropriate, 10 knots. Again, keeping our eye out, making sure things are clear. We're such a big plane that sometimes when planes taxi, they will stop them from entering the same taxiway, like even if it's coming at the site. If there's some coming from Bravo now, they would be told to stop way down there, if that makes sense, if we were crossing straight over, that is. Seems like common sense, but sometimes there are a lot of planes taxiing on the same ramps and things, and they're usually small ones, basically easier to get around. Okay, crossfeed's not on. Or it was on. Crossfeed on here. Window heat, APU's off. Pack resets, all the cargo heat's on. I'm gonna go ahead and have a look at our departure charts. So we've got our airport diagram. We know we're going to be down to continue down Bravo, then Delta 3, runway 01 right. So we want departures, and this is our departure here. So they are. Oh, it is an RNAV departure. That's interesting. That's a 5. We need a 3. So we may have out of date. Or maybe not. Sometimes we get out of date information on the AirX cycle. So what we do, and I say we, most people will look at the departure charts and just look where they need to fly. But to be fair, there's no ATC, so we'll clear straight up to 28/30,000 feet. I say that's pretty useless at the moment. The arrival charts have been much more useful. What I'm going to do though is prepare to take off early, so we're going to stick our transponder to TCAS now. Stick some of the anti-ice and things, so we've got window heat. Let's just double check everything else is ready for departure. Yes, we've got our lights on. We do need to put our landing lights on when we get to the runway. Flaps are set to 10, so pre-takeoff checklist complete. Let's do this. Hey, there is airport. There is traffic at the airport. We've missed our turning. What a fool. What a fool, you say, and I agree. That was silly of me not to pay attention then. Let's taxi straight across, because we're going to be blocking the runway otherwise. We'll go across and go around instead. That might be easier. It's not the first time. It is. If you've ever seen those videos on YouTube with the pilots, they go the wrong taxiways and then they blame the ATC, and then the ATC will say something like, we got a number for you to call now. Thankfully we're not going to be on the ACC, so there's no numbers to call. Stick our landing lights. We're in a position actually, so strobe lights are mixed opinions on that as well. I've heard people say you should stick them on immediately when taxiing in a 747. Other people say definitely wait. Same as the 737, just wait till takeoff. Remember, it's a sim, so we do have a bit of discretion in there. Oh, I love it. I really do. If anybody enjoyed that 747 Air Force One flight, just let you know that I will be doing more as the President's personal pilot. Flaps set. Landing lights, takeoff lights on. Let's turn the turn off lights on as well. Actually no, that might distract other aircraft. Strobes are on, TCAS on the transponder. Let's go ahead and give Harry Reid International a call out. Harry Reid International Airport, this is FedEx 92. We're departing runway 01 right. So I'm going to be taking the Yonk free runway departure to the west. Complete, forgot the departure there, oh well. Let's get going, everybody. Auto throttle armed, V2 speed is set. All clear from the tower. Takeoff thrust set. Airspeed alive. 80 knots.
80 knots.
V1.
V1.
V1, rotate.
Positive rate.
Positive rate climb, gear coming up. A very hard amount of pressure required there on the departure. Wonder if we trim those down a bit too much. Let's follow our path, so we take that left-hand turn right over Vegas. What a departure, everybody. What a departure. Incredible. That is just beautiful. I'm going to do a landing in Vegas at night one time, everybody. I think that is by far the world's best airport, one of the best, and one of the best runways to take off from in the night. You fly right over the strip. You fly over the casinos. You fly over Caesar's Palace. It's all down there. The scenery of X-Plane 12 at Vegas is some of the best I've ever seen on a flight sim. So we're above 1,000 feet. Obviously, we're going to engage the autopilot. We're going to allow the plane to fly itself now on its route. Estimated flight time was 1 hour 40. We've taken a nice amount of time on the ground to get things sorted properly. So we've taken about 45 minutes there to get in the air. We have an hour there, and that's all. So we've gone over 6,000 feet. Let's just neutralise the gear. RTO's come off. Text light should be off. Anti-ice. I read international traffic. This is FedEx 92. We're climbing through the departure leg to flight level 300. Flaps to 5. Landing lights off. Flaps to 1. And flaps up. Okay, we can't lock the gear in neutral position. We're using the honeycomb throttle quadrant, you see, so it's preventing it from going in the off position, which is fine. It's not going to affect the flight. I've also turned on instrument description, so anybody who's perhaps a bit unsure what things are, the description will pop up when I hover over it. 10,000 feet, thank you, co-pilot. As I say, just me and himself today, or myself and him. Cool, so one of the things I forgot there was continuous ignition for departure. Fuel pumps, you don't have any in the centre, so that's fine. Cargo heat can probably come off at the moment. There's nobody down there as far as I'm aware. Cockpit and tab. So when it comes to passenger temps, I would just leave it on automatic. Same as the flight deck. Cargo temp is automatic. You don't need to change them really. I don't actually think they're modelled. So even if you were to change them, it wouldn't make an effect on the simulation. So what's happening now is the aircraft is levelling off because obviously the departure is requesting that we don't exceed 13,000 feet. Technically, because there's no ATC, we're allowed to clear ourselves straight up. So what we can do is go down here and we can simply, I was going to say if it leveled off and stayed there, we could simply press flight level change and it would go, or we could change it by putting 300 in there and it would climb straight up to 30,000 feet. It's doing well to following the FMC plan though. So there's the departure star procedure. So that's the SID. The SID waypoint. Hopefully the ascent doesn't slow down too much, and that should be 300 as well, rather than 299. Okay everybody, I really hope that departure was smooth. I'm just going to get myself a drink. Hope everyone's enjoying it and having a great Monday. Really great to see everybody in here. So I'll just be back in perhaps 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back everybody. If you got any questions, let me know. If you want to see more of the 747 on my channel, then also let me know, and I'll do more flights. If you want to see Air Force One again, tell me where you want me to fly to. It will be in the United States probably, but we thought that we could probably plan an international one if you wanted. Wednesday we got a nice Scandinavian flight. Copenhagen to Denmark, and then Friday we're trying out the MD-82. So brand new aircraft for me in terms of like layout, in terms of startup, and we're flying from somewhere in Italy, I think, maybe Geneva. I can't remember where I've planned it. And of course throughout the week I'll be uploading videos of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, so you can catch those as well. The next Jedi Fallen Order stream will be Sunday. set standard pressure. Completely forgot about it, but we are just about 18,000 feet. Going a little bit slow actually today. When I was flying the other day in the 747, it may be because of the weight as well, but we were at least 300 by this point, 300 knots. Decision height there, 350 feet. Let's go ahead and get the altitude of the arrival airport. It doesn't mean much, but it's always a good reference. There's only 13 feet in the air. The approaches, the frequencies. Okay, we want runway 28. I have pre-planned an ILS, although it might change when we arrive, so 28 left. ILS 10955, let's go ahead and try and get it in now. So rather than tuning in the radios, you would tune it down here instead in the actual FMC, and that will usually do it automatically too. Today we're going to do it manually. I think we did it manually last time. I know one of the ways doesn't work properly. So what we do now is we change the course as well. It's always really important, otherwise it's not going to lock onto the ILS when you're coming to land. So 285. Can change it with the co-pilot as well. He's got Las Vegas VOR in, which is good. So he was ready for the go around. He was ready for the emergency landing if we need to. We're going to do it in dual channel today. And the same thing again, just 285 on the course. ADF, don't have that. And then Park is coming up as the ILS. This is our arrival. We want that chart, so we go stars arrival. RNAV arrival there, so we may have to change it to an RNAV approach. Let's just see if they've got one or not. Yeah, so they got the RNAV approach. So we're coming in this way, 27,000 feet. And we'll be flying to one of those waypoints. Let's check on the plans. Right, I see, it must be in that direction rather than the other way. It's fine, still works. I will be fine, just don't worry. We'll take our nice deflector shield there. I was watching Star Wars the other night, ironically. I've just been playing the game as well. And that scene from the Return of the Jedi, where they blow up the Death Star for the second time, always blows my mind. It's really advanced CDI for the time. 1983 and it's still got... It still looks incredible. Let's put it that way. It still looks like it's real. So going back to the charts, I'm just looking. So we got category D, but it's coming up as pretty much 3,000 feet. I think I saw it on here before. There it is. So He-Man. That's where we're coming in from because we're category D. So that gives the altitude nice and correctly. And then what 1,800 feet, of course. The RNAVs are always a lot more fun to fly. I would highly recommend them actually. The ILS does get a little bit boring, but the RNAV's absolutely fine. And we're coming in right over the water, so we might be able to see the... I don't know, are we close enough there from the airport? See the Golden Gate? We may do. I'll leave it open there so we know where it is. Let's just calculate a few more things while we're on our way, because it's only an hour flight, so we'll probably start descending soon. We'll climb to the top and then it won't be long to the descent. Estimated arrival speed and landing speed is 142. 30 degrees of flap, so 100. We usually add 5 knots of wind. So in our case, 147. Just messing around there with the hydraulics. Just ignore me, everybody. Gear, everything's looking. I was looking at the hydraulics. So the auxiliary pump, it does actually show you a diagram down here. When you're starting up or when you're on the ground, you should put it onto auxiliary first, and then when the engine is started, you can switch it back to automatic. It just seems to bypass It doesn't seem to do anything, it just seems to go for this extra valve. Obviously the auxiliary. There's like an engineer who's a bit more talented than obviously going to be smarter than me, so if he's anyone here who knows about this stuff, maybe interesting to hear about it. Above 20,000 feet, we should really be changing that to a maximum of 20-degree bank angle. I think it's even lower than that at a 747. Maybe 10 degrees, but what I'm going to do is use our automatic to do it itself. Obviously 5. I'm assuming the big one is... I don't know what that is actually, it's going up strange numbers on that one. Well, the 737 you can adjust it to below 20 degrees, etc. So we'll keep it on automatic for now, we don't want to crash when we come down landing. Taking forever to climb, isn't it? Still climbing up to 30,000 feet. I think, yes, it's a miracle. There is the sun just rising. So this is a gorgeous time of day to fly. We've set off at like 3:30 and 4 in the morning. And now the sun is finally rising there in the east. Good news, everybody. We should be able to see the Golden Gate, or at least downtown San Francisco when we arrive. Looking at the chart on the sim brief, and obviously we're coming in over the water. We'll have San Mateo on the left, Redwood City on our left hand side. Then on the right we've got Union City, Castro Valley, Oakland. And obviously further down there'll be the Golden Gate Bridge. Top of descent. D, the arrival. For the on approach runway 28 left. This is the longest stretch of the flight, everybody. 129 nautical miles. And then after that it's smooth sailing. You can see there very minimal amount of distance before we get to the actual runway. The height would be 3,000 as we've said. Missed approach, it's 4,000 feet. That's for the hold, but I think 4,000 feet as a go around height is a good amount as well. Beautiful. Let me know, again, let me know, please tell me, people, like, what do you want to see? What do you want to see more of? The 737, the 747? I know find us and travel well if you're regulars here. You know, let me know your sort of aircraft you want to see there. Is it propeller? Is it turbine, turbofan, etc.? Got the headwind coming in as well, haven't we? We got the 40 knot headwind there. So as you can see, that's slowing us down quite a lot. 420 knots ground speed. They've done a damn good job of the delivery though. We'll have to try. I'll try and get. I know I said before about the 737-800, but I'll try and consider it and get it on discount or sale. Yeah, I know you've had your sort of like quite a lot of experience, haven't you, Finest? And seems like travelling and living abroad, you've done it all. So let me know where you've been, and I'll plan a destination there. Plan a flight. Same Finest. Many places. A big world we live in. I do want to visit China. Not just for real, but on the game, and I want to fly to Japan as well. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. The Japan airports in particular, I know they're a lot of fun to do. South Korea, Thailand, there's loads of places, isn't there? We got the whole of Malaysia, Indonesia. It needs to be, I think it needs to be challenging as well, so let me have a look. I've already done Bhutan International. I did that on Friday, so if anybody wants to see that landing, go and check it out on the channel. Of course, there's Lukla Airport. Yeah, crazy trains and crazy planes there. Super fast, super fast actually, like speed of light. Princess Juliana is not in the Asian territory, but it is a nice airport. I love it. Princess Juliana is, I believe it's French territory, isn't it? In the Mediterranean. Not Mediterranean, in the, you know where, everybody knows where I mean. Again, Nepal, Lukla Airport, or Lukla Airport. Wellington International Airport, New Zealand. Now, New Zealand's also a place I want to fly to. There's a lot of, and same as Australia, there's a lot of things down there like dirt strips that are just in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes they're not even roads. So sometimes they're not even aircraft suitable, they're just roads. So that's another one. We got the one I'm thinking of is obviously Wellington International Airport, which is just an ice strip in the middle of nowhere. starts and ends in water. We've done Narsarsuaq Airport in Greenland. That was a great flight as well. I've done Barra Airport. I was very proud of that landing on Barra. We've done, in fact, we've done the majority. I'm looking at a list here, but I've done the majority of flights. We've done Gibraltar. Gibraltar was actually quite tricky in the citation. Svalbard Airport, you have mentioned that to me before, Finders. Svalbard Airport in Norway. Built directly on ice as well. Yeah, South America's popping up. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Telluride, of course. Yeah, there's plenty of options there. I'm going to put a poll in chat. I know that there won't be many people voting. They give you an option too, so let's go ahead and enter that in. Right, I don't know what airport in Japan, but I just put Japan. Got somebody there landing at Los Angeles, KLAX. Brazil, second largest country in the world after Russia. I didn't know that, Finest. I know it's a massive one, but the second biggest? Just gonna throw this out there. I don't even play video games as much as I used to, but I did play on Tom Clancy's, I believe it's Wildlands, is it? And that's set in South America, and that was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Wildlands, that's a brilliant game. One of the biggest open worlds I've ever played on. I'd never completed it, it was that big. So the Wildlands game takes place in Bolivia, but if anybody does play on like shooters and things, I do recommend that one. It's got the old school vibes to it, and you know Tom Clancy games are always, the old ones at least, are always good. I think the modern ones after 2020 just got really bad. Anyway, getting distracted. I think we're ready to descend, aren't we? So 50 nautical miles, and then we'll be descending down. We might as well start descending now, so we'll do vertical speed instead. Okay, vertical speed doesn't work on my... Oh yes it does. 600 feet a minute will be alright. Remember everybody, give it a like, a comment. This will probably be one of the few streams I actually ask for it. Because I'm trying to get the content pushed out a little bit more. Trying to get more people into the streams. So far, Svalbard Airport, probably you find this, but yeah, Svalbard. I'll plan a special flight for there. ETA 20 minutes. Start the descent now to 18,000 feet. We're only going down about 800 to 1,000 feet per minute. It is. Best time of day finders by far. Sunrise, sunset, it always makes for magical flights. I feel super productive as well. I feel like I've gotten up at like 3 in the morning to fly a plane to California. That's what the real pilots have to do. They have to get up super early in the cargo ones. You know, 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. They have to go to the airport. They have to spend over an hour doing the walk around and pre-flight checks. And then they get in the cockpit. They spend over half an hour to an hour getting ready for departure. And yeah, you got to give them credit. Cargo pilots generally work pretty hard. Not saying that other pilots don't, but cargo pilots in particular have got that extra workload, haven't they? They got to check everything on board. Look at that though, incredible view. Modesto is coming up. Just over at our left we got Castle. Salinas. Of course California, well Los Angeles will be further south. Done well on viewers today. People have wanted to see the 747 more, it seems. I had well more viewers at the beginning than usual. I suspect they probably just stay there, find us. A lot of the time pilots will just go there and stay over, won't they? They'll either stay over for the night and get the flight they need to take the next day, because they're probably on a shift where on a schedule where they fly one destination and then they'll fly to another from there. A lot of pilots will also just leave the same day, but I don't think they're allowed to if they've flown a certain amount of hours. I can't remember how many hours it is. It's like truck drivers. So if they've done, I don't know, 12 hours in an aircraft, they couldn't fly another flight until a certain amount of time has passed. They can do it as a passenger, of course, but not as a pilot. I don't want to speak too much for people if I don't know what they're doing though, so don't take my word for it. There's some interesting documentaries on YouTube and things about cargo pilots. You know, there's a really well-known cargo airline, I won't mention it, but it's one of the biggest in the world, and they fly for a heck of a long time.
Imagine.
I'll post it in the comments. There's the documentary, everybody, if you want to check it out. Not necessarily about the pilots, but just about the airline and the company. Good insight into how things work in import-export businesses, etc. Welcome in, Trevor Buff. Cusco, Peru is a high-altitude airport in the Andes. Start from Lima. Brilliant. I have got my notepad and pen, so I'm going to be writing these down. Cusco, Peru, and starting from Lima. Thanks, Travel Buff, and thank you to whoever voted for Svalbard. That'll be coming up at some point. So both of those airports. Alright, we're on the proper descent now. Here it is, everybody. We're over California territory. We're imminently inbound to runway 28 left. We've got not much time to prepare, so we're going to go ahead and quickly descend down to straight down to 3,000 feet because that's the approach height. I say quickly, we've got the time, but we've got a lot of distance to cover in that time. There we go. Brilliant. Pre-landing or descent checklist. Let's put our auto brakes onto 1. I think the pedal brakes will be sufficient because it's a long runway. It's San Francisco. Temperature wise, 0 degrees outside. We can get an accurate reading down here though on the FMC. We do need the approach. We'll keep that up so the speed is decreased. We can just adjust that as needed. So 30. being the flap setting and then 145 being the destination or target speed. We'll have to wear oxygen. Thank goodness we got oxygen, but I have noticed on X-Plane it's hit and miss. It doesn't always work. Sound like Darth Vader with it on. By the way, finders, I know you was with me on that stream on Jedi Fallen Order when we got up the tree, the origin tree. That was just a great mission. I ended up uploading the video of that boss fight, the Ninth Sister, and she was really the first proper boss in that game. But I got her pretty much second time round. Flaps to 1. And adjust to 280. Okay, that's gone dark. I wonder why that's gone dark. About 283 or 4 there. San Francisco International. This is FedEx 92. We're descending now to flight level 3,000 feet on the arrival for runway 28 left. So I forgot the arrival name there. I'm being a bit lackluster in the radio course today, but if you are unsure, just go on to your arrival and it'll tell you. I'm not sure what that is. We could just say Delta Yankee Alpha Mike Delta 5, or simply call it DAMD 5, and people probably know what we're talking about. Flaps are a bit all over the place. Right, the lever's gone funny. I'll just do it with the switch instead. There's no issues. Like I say, everybody, just really surprised we've had so many viewers today. It's clear indication the 747 is, let's just say, a lot more popular. Everyone stuck around until the end as well. We got nearly landed and everybody's gone. I'd say stick around a little bit longer, everybody, and just wait for the landing, because it's going to be amazing. I mean, look at that. We've got the lighting of the city, and hopefully we can see the bridge, because there's the water. Oakland on the right. Loading lights. Flaps to 5. We are turning now. We're on a long final, but we are turning onto it. So what we're going to have to do is slow down for one, and probably activate the approach switch now, because it's coming up on the system. Okay, it's actually locked onto the approach already, so it should be descending and taking us right down. As you can see there, we put the frequency things into both, so it looks like it's going to be a dual channel wireless. And some rain, that's cool. 10,000 feet, thank you. We've got our landing lights on, we've got our flaps down to 5, it should be. Drop them down to 10, we should be slowing down. As you can see, it's completely on the approach mode now, it's not using the lateral navigation. But one thing it isn't doing is descending quick enough. Well, this is indeed insane. It is crazy how many there is. Look at that. I love the realism of the aircraft when it's like, when it actually looks decent. There's the runway ahead, locked on nice and early. Probably a good thing we selected the approach mode, because the flight plan there seems to be going more to the right than the left. As you can see, number 28 left is on the there, right on there. So somewhere in the distance is the Golden Gate. Yeah, 3,000 feet. San Francisco International FedEx 92. 10 nautical mile final for runway 28 left. It's probably not accurate, probably a little bit further than that. Anyway, you're slowing down nice and well, so let's activate our VNav again so it gives us the accurate speed. It's giving us 180. And then 1,000 feet on the approach for some reason, but rather than 3,000, so we might as well just keep going down. Very high up, probably too high up. I suspect the speed is something to do with it. It's not doing what we want to. It's 145 VREF. Full flaps. Just create as much drag as possible now with the gear and flaps. Probably would be a go round. Most likely it would have at this point. There's still hope though. 2,500 feet. May have to do what we did last time and just go in hand flown, which is no problem. Disengaging the auto throttler, however, is a little bit of a different issue. If you press toga, takeoff go around, at any point during the flight in the Sparky mod, it will most likely malfunction and you'll lose total control of the throttle. This is a smooth approach though so far. And if you turn the auto throttle off, it will idle the engines, so you're screwed either way. We'll just wait till we're a little bit lower and then we'll turn it off. It flies so steadily. I'm barely putting any pitch control in. It's completely gliding at this point. Extremely high though, so let's course correct. Hands on the yoke and the throttle. Honeycomb.
500.
500 feet. Look at that for an approach.
400.
400 feet. So the engines have idled.
300.
That's ideal. Let's turn auto throttle off. We lose control of the
200.
throttle, but
Glide
we can
slope.
turn them off.
Glide slope.
Don't worry, everybody. We're
Glide slope. Glide slope. 100.
no thrust control. I
Glide
forgot
slope.
about that. Oh God.
Glide slope. 50. 30. 30. 20. 10.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Reverses, spoilers.
Reverse is normal. Reverse is normal.
Good. Reverses normal. Straight down the centre line though, just a little bit high and then a bit low. Very steady though. Auto brake off. Reverses off. Spoilers up. Yeah, I wonder why we lost control of the... I wonder why it does that when it doesn't give you any throttle control once you've... Well, this might be why I used my controller rather than my throttle quadrant, because it doesn't control it. Nice landing, very good into California, San Francisco. Gonna taxi straight to the end. Just spotted to stand by, even though we're on the runway. It is odd. You turn the auto throttle off, you lose control of it, and if you use the toga, you also lose control of it. As you can see, there's no thrust available. Ah, there is. There we go, another surprise for Grantham, CPT. All over the place like a drunk pilot at the end. Let's get our chart up so we can see where we're going. Chart's gone dark, I have no idea why it does that. Right, we need preferably be cargo parking, so it'll probably be down to the left. And we'll park at whatever that is, Bravo. You see here, Terminal 2. I mean, it's probably not cargo, but it will do. APU coming on. Should have turned the anti-ice off before. Window wipers. Strobes. What else have we got up here? Good thing there's nobody else at this airport, everybody. Taxiing like a madman. Okay, APU's come online. Space there is taken. You just have to find the nearest one. Thank you all for being here though, it's been an incredible flight. It's minus that somewhat difficult approach. And silly flying at the end, so we always get one of those flights there, don't we, on the channel. It's like as close as we can get to perfect. A lot of the times you'll always see me do it slightly off, so there's definitely room for improvement. Probably didn't even need packs on, we don't have passengers on board. Looks like we've skipped all these spaces, just straight down to Mike 1. Mike 5, 345. Yeah, this is why ATC helps, because they can give you clearance to cargo parking, etc. They can give you indication where it is, because the chart there doesn't really say it, although San Francisco is not really a cargo airport, is it? I'm going to spend more time offline learning the systems a bit better. I mean, particularly the auto throttle and the throttles, because there's stuff there I need to understand. I'm pretty sure it's a glitch and it's a bug, but there could also be some error on my part in terms of like how to actually operate and how it operates in general. It does seem a little bit broke though compared to another 747 I flew a while ago. Yeah, we can turn the engines off. I've cut the fuel off. Oh, there we go, it's closing. It's stopping now, closing the engines down, shutting down, however you want to say it. So the bleed air off the engines off. Let's turn all the fans off. This is a full shutdown, everybody, not a ready state one. Can change that, I didn't realise. Standby power, so standby equipment cooling off. Knobs and beacons off. All the hydraulics off. Fuel pumps. And then we go over to the electrical side. Turn those generators from the engines. Bus ties off. So that'll shut down the aircraft power, hopefully. We have got APU power on board, we'll leave that. We'll return everything else off. So utilities, standby power, IRS. And that's it. The only thing that's running now is the battery in the APU. If we switch the battery off, we can still keep the APU on. So, yeah, very interesting. Great flight. Thank you all for being here. I will watch the replay while we do our outro song. Can't put chocks on because the battery's off. Just give me a sec. Can we do it? Can we do it? No, missed my chance. I was going to say set the chocks. There she is, the FEDEX 92. She made it to San Francisco after a somewhat wonky journey. And we're going to do the replay, and I'll probably go off the mic, but I'll see you all on the next one.